Yo guys, Haku here, and I'm coming at you with a Walking Dead video, and this is going to be pretty comic spoiler heavy, so if you're not into that, I would suggest just don't watch because there's going to be a lot of comic spoilers, but I'm going to be clear that I don't think that that has anything to do with the actual show, because stuff in the comics is usually very, very different, so if you still want to watch, go for it. And I don't do show spoilers at all. There's no fun in seeing what happens ahead of time because it ruins the surprise. This is just going to be predictions, and it's going to be predictions on if Negan does have his baseball bat scene at the end of the season, who is it going to be that he kills? I'm going to try to be as short and succinct as I can with this, but I know that I'll likely get a little bit rambly here and there, so bear with me. Now, before I go through characters one by one, I want to say that I think that it will happen at the end of the season. It does feel a bit rushed, in my opinion, to have Negan in this scene coming in already, but I'm okay with it. It's a little rushed, but I like what they're doing with it, and I have faith that they'll do it right. One thing I am worried about that I think is a real possibility is that, and I think I've said this before, is that they will leave it as a cliffhanger into next season, which I think I really personally think that it would make people want to watch the season premiere next season, and it would make it a pretty big season premiere, but I really think it would kind of hurt the impact of the death quite a bit, because then you have these months between the end of season 6 and beginning of season 7 to prepare, like, okay, one of these characters kneeling is going to die, and that's just how it is. So I'm really hoping that it isn't a cliffhanger, but it could be. So prepare for that, I guess, guys. And into my personal choice for who I would be most okay with it being, or who I think it would be the best cinematically, Daryl is a popular choice, but I'm going to say Morgan. I think it would be a very good choice to have Morgan do it, and I'll go over why. Now then, I'm going to break this down a bit character by character, starting with Rick, Carl, and Judith, the Grimes family. I think they're totally safe, 0% chance of dying, but on the very, 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 like, almost impossible off chance that he baseball batted Judith, man, would that be a scene. That would be the most, like, hardcore scene on television. It'd be insane, and I'd actually be for it happening, because it would make him, like, the biggest bad guy ever. So, I mean, it would be a lot different than the comics, but I mean, it'd be very, like, it would be an insane way to do it, and in that shock and surprise, because I doubt it would happen, would make me enjoy it even more. Now, getting into the more minor characters, I think that minor characters are safe. I mean, if you're not on the, I think that maybe if you're not on the main opening credits, I don't want to sound insulting saying this, but you're not, like, important enough a character for this huge death. That said, I also think Michonne's completely safe. 0% chance of dying. Because I don't know, I really, really strongly do not see Michonne dying in this scene. It wouldn't really fit her character or Negan's character. It would feel off to me. Next, Abraham and Sasha. Now, Abraham's one that some people bring up because they're like, oh, he's a big, strong dude, so seeing him get beaten to death with a baseball bat, that'd be a huge message to send. But I personally don't think that he is even going to be there. I don't think he or Sasha are going to be on that van. I think that, some background, in the comics, while this is happening, there's the attack on Alexandria where Dwight attacks with a group and Andrea fends them off and captures Dwight. And I think that they're going to need more than just an Andrea type character for the show. So I think that maybe the season premiere will get into, like, oh, the attack happened while they were gone, the season premiere of 7, and we'll see that attack and Dwight getting captured. And I think that both Abraham and Sasha are going to be back there for that attack. And they're not even going to be on the van that meets Negan. So yeah, give Abraham and Sasha 0% chance of dying. I don't even a little bit think that either one of them are getting this death. Next is someone a ton of people think are getting it, and that's Daryl. And I don't personally think Daryl's going to get it because there's something else I think that they're going to do with the character here. Now, Daryl getting it, he is the most recognizable character from the TV show in my opinion. People that don't know a ton about The Walking Dead at least would know, oh, there's Daryl, and they could recognize him. He's the most recognizable, I feel. So giving the most recognizable TV show character the biggest death in the series would be a fitting death for the character. So if ever there was a way for Daryl to properly die, this would probably be it, but I don't think that this is how it's happening. What I personally think will happen for Daryl is that he's going to be back at Alexandria fending off the Savior's attack led by Dwight, and he's going to be the one to capture Dwight. Because we've seen the little, I think it was season 6 of this episode 6 of this season. How did I mess that one up? But yeah, we saw episode 6 of this season that he's met Dwight, but he didn't get his name, I don't believe. So he doesn't know it's Dwight, of course, he wouldn't. So I think him capturing Dwight and being like, you're the dude that I tried to help before and you robbed me, and then him being the one to capture him and hold him for when Rick gets back, I think that would be a much more interesting thing to do with Daryl's character. And I think it's a lot more likely of a thing to do with his character than giving him the biggest death in the series. So in the end, I'm giving Daryl Dixon 30% chance of dying by Negan's bat, because it could happen, but I don't personally think it's happening. Next, on to Maggie, and I do think that her pregnancy could very well be a false sense of security for fans, and that she could still get the death. Now, it's kind of hard to say that because I'm leaning more towards it being a man, but there are strong women in The Walking Dead, so I don't think it would be sexist to have a woman be the one that gets this death. And I think Maggie getting it would be like an extreme twist on the comics that would be... I'm giving this a higher chance just because I think it would be so interesting. Like if it was Maggie that died and then Glenn and Enid went to the hilltop in place of comic Maggie and Sophia, I think that would be an incredibly interesting remix to the story, and I'd be up for seeing it, honestly. So Maggie, I'm giving a 40% chance of dying, and that same 40% chance I'm giving to Carol, because Carol has gotten a lot of character development this season. She's gotten a lot of character development throughout the show, but especially this season, we've seen her a lot in character building moments. So I think that Carol is a good character to do it, and the biggest reason too is because she's a very strong character. She's one of the strongest characters that we have seen in The Walking Dead, and I think that just a big fan favorite strong character like Carol would be the emotional and impactful scene that we need for this death. I also think that Negan killing Carol could have an effect on making Daryl a more fleshed out character, because he would obviously have a lot going on after Carol's death, obviously. So I think that it'd be really good. I think it would be a good cinematic choice to kill off Carol, just to develop, to have that emotional scene and also develop Rick and Daryl further from the death. A lot further. Now getting into Glenn, I strongly think that they could still keep Glenn for the iconic death. I really do, and I think that it may make the fake-out death in the beginning an even more brilliant choice, because we all thought that he was getting the baseball bat scene that was coming up, but then this fake-out death, what did it do? It got fans questioning. They're like, well, if they just faked it out, or if they killed him earlier, or they can't kill him with the baseball bat scene, or are they going to kill him with Lucille? So I think that the fake-out death could have been a brilliant move in getting people guessing if he's going to die or not for the baseball bat scene. It took a lot of the certainty out of it and made making videos like this possible. It made people question it. And I think that was a really smart choice. I didn't know if it was that smart at first, but now I really am behind the choice just because it added that mystery and made us like discuss and question once again. Now, of course, if it was Glenn, then it would have this huge emotional impact. It'd be massive, just like it was in the comics. Because Glenn is such an iconic character for the series, it would be 100% as big as the comics or bigger. I think it'd be a great thing to do, and I think it's pretty likely that they'll keep it the same, in my opinion. I'm giving them a 60% chance that it's Glenn that dies by the hands of Negan and Lucille. Now, lastly is my personal choice, Morgan. And I think that Morgan would be the best choice because he has been a character from season 1, episode 1, and we've seen him so much over the years, and in ways that he's been mysterious, and we've got hints at him throughout different seasons, like seeing him occasionally in season 5, seeing him once in season 3. What they've done with his character has been very good, and I think all this build-up leading up to that biggest death could be just the perfect way to go about doing his character. It would be just probably the biggest thing they could do, and it would make the Here's Not Here episode where we got his background even more impactful, because that was the meat of our knowledge of the Morgan character, really. And then going from that into seeing him now, seeing what he used to be, and then giving him that death could be incredible. Could be the best thing that they could do. And now 2 more things that I think support this is that he's a strong character. He's a fighter. We've seen him fight off a bunch of people. So to see him die in such a helpless situation where he couldn't fight his way out of it would be very, very just emotional to see. This guy fought off so many people, but this is how it's going to happen. They're surrounded. There's nothing they can do but watch it happen. And also, he's really close to Rick. So I think that his closeness to Rick, like Glenn was close to Rick in the comics, would make for this to be a massive, massive event if he were to die in this scene. Now, how I personally see it happening, I actually see Negan picking someone else, like Carol especially, and then Morgan steps in, and Negan doesn't want to go back and say, I picked this one with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't want to hit you. But then Morgan gets all preachy with his life is precious, and Negan's like, okay, yeah, I don't like this. I can't take this. And just all the sappy, preachy speech that Morgan can squeeze out, and then Negan kills him. I think that would make it even sadder and an even bigger death. And I keep saying that because I just have to. It's going to be the biggest death, and I have to think about what characters I think could make it the biggest. And I think he could, especially Lenny James as an actor. I feel like his personal emotional range and facial expressions would be perfect for this scene. I also think that Norman Reedus or Melissa McBride, either one of them could do it amazingly if it was Carol or Daryl, but I think that Lenny James as Morgan could make this scene the biggest it could be. And a little afternote is when Glenn gets hit and he's uttering Maggie's name and they're saying, oh, if it's Daryl, he'll try to get out Carol's name or something, or the other way around. But I think that it'd be interesting if he hits Morgan and Morgan just just forces himself to say all life is precious just as his last words, and then Negan finishes him off with the second hit. I think that would be, just thinking about it, that would be the biggest mind-blowing thing, just amazing, amazing work in my opinion, is if we had all that emotional stuff and Morgan sacrificing himself, he gets hit, he's dying, and he says all life is precious before the Negan just goes in to finish him off and keep beating him. That would honestly be the biggest thing that The Walking Dead has done and could do for the foreseeable future, that would be the big scene to me. So I'm giving Morgan an 80% chance of death at the hands of Negan and Lucille at this season's season finale or next season's premiere. So guys, that was it. I did get a little bit long-winded here, but there was a lot to talk about. I thank you guys for sticking through it. Thank you guys for watching all of my videos. And like, comment, subscribe, join the discussion, tell me what you think. I really want to hear your opinions. Follow on Twitter if you want updates on when things are happening. Thank you guys so very much, and I will see you all around.